When I checked this movie out from the county library, I got a huge smile from the 70-year-old woman who volunteers there. "This one is my favorite," she beamed, which, coming from an elderly woman about a movie about twin 15-year-olds, just reminded me that The Parent Trap is actually a movie for grown-ups. I will happily admit that this G-rated film begins and ends with lengthy camping sequences full of hijinks that appealed to me far more at age 10 than now in my 50s. And Walt, when he was planning this whole thing, was hoping to capture a preteen market of boys and girls this time, unlike Hayley Mills' recent hit Pollyanna. The stakes in this movie's opening at the summer camp are definitely aimed at preteens. The jitters of early dating.
I feel absolutely naked without my lipstick.
Oh.
Kids versus adults. Camp Inch seems like a prototype for young adult literature, a Muggle Hogwarts.
I am your supreme commander here, and my name is Miss Inch. Yes, Miss Inch.
Your attention, please.
I would like to say a few words. And here they are. Nitwit, blubber, oddment, tweak. Thank you.
But even in those initial slapstick scenes, the movie's a lot smarter than it looks.
Let's get together. Yeah.
The recap: twins Sharon and Susan were separated as infants, raised on opposite coasts without any knowledge the other twin exists by their wonderful but hot-headed parents, Mitch and Maggie. Sharon is a Boston debutante, ruled by constant courses in classical education. Susan grew up on a ranch in California with her rough-and-tumble father. When they meet by chance, they no sooner look than loathe. Their rivalry turns a much-anticipated co-ed dance into a debacle, so they get locked up together in solitary confinement. Sharon and Susan quickly discover that they're sisters, and scheme to swap places to spend the rest of the summer with their respective parents, whom they've both longed to meet. Better yet, the inevitable reveal of their deception will force their mother and father together, and the girls are convinced that the two adults are still in love. The movie really takes off when Sharon is shipped off to Boston, where she meets her imperious grandmother, delightful grandfather, and most importantly, the glorious Maureen O'Hara as her mother Maggie. Meanwhile, Sharon flies to Carmel, California, where she's embraced by her smirking, laid-back dad and his staff, busybody Verbena and cowboy Hecky. She's less embraced by Vicky, a seductive gold digger who is set to marry Mitch in just a few days.
And though we haven't got a lot, we could be sharing all we've got.
As they explore each other's homes, interesting questions arise about nature versus nurture. Susan is a born schemer, able to play her mother like a pro, a trait she shares with the wily grandfather she'd never met before. Charles Ruggles is the best of the film's strong supporting cast, sweetly chiding Maggie into sexing up her wardrobe and coiffure in advance of seeing Mitch again.
Stay the way you are.
Well, I certainly intend to.
A nice, reliable, settled, comfortable woman who accepts the coming of age with grace and dignity.
He and Susan, who he calls out as a phony almost immediately, form a formidable team. Meanwhile, Sharon is in California, bludgeoning Mitch and Vicky with her sarcasm, something she clearly shares with Mitch, who she hadn't seen since she was 1 year old.
Were you lonely while I was gone?
Oh, I cried myself to sleep every night about the first week after
No,
that.
seriously.
Well, seriously, I got to play golf every day. I play poker at night, and I wish I could find one of these camps where they keep you all winter, too.
Ho, ho.
Oh.
Sure, she picks up a few tricks from Verbena.
I'm not saying a word. I mind my own business.
That's why I'm not saying a word. Not one single word.
Who seems like a cousin of the housekeeper Emma from White Christmas.
How did you know?
Well, like any decent, self-respecting housekeeper, I listened in on the other phone.
But Sharon's cattiness is shared with her mother, who drops the same snarling smiles on Vicky and her mother whenever she comes out to collect Sharon.
We'll just charge it to good old Mitch. He's loaded.
Oh, I didn't really know.
Oh, didn't you?
Together. Oh!
As all this goes along, we are treated to a double whammy of 1960s angst about divorce. On the adult side, Vicky and her mother seem awfully well informed about state property and alimony laws, which were gobbledygook to me as a child seeing this back in the 70s. On the kid side, Susan is well aware of the 6-month split that divides her classmates between parents. These days, that's more often a weekday-weekend split, but also adding more confusion for the kids. This is 2025. In 1961, the writer saw all this headache and heartache coming. Well, maybe not coming, still here and now. Some moments that as a kid just hit me as being sweet are now heart-wrenching.
Well, what's the matter, dear?
I'm just happy to see you.
Equaled only by Lindsay Lohan meeting Dennis Quaid in the 1998 remake.
Get into these arms, you little punk.
Dad. emotionally.
Not a lot of rom-coms are focused as much on ageism as The Parent Trap, which has an Anthony and Cleopatra-like obsession with the mature nature of the two leads, both cast at the withering age of 40, practically corpses, really. Sharon's particularly crass about it.
It's all relative, Dad. Don't you see? Compared to her, you're an old man.
I am not an old man.
You are too. It's absolutely revolting.
But when you're Maureen O'Hara, 40 is literally just a number. It's kind of a shame that Maggie sits out the climactic camping trip with Mitch, Vicky, and the girls, but we're led to imagine that she's been through that scenario before and would not have been fazed by lizards, trout, or sleeping under the stars. In the terms of the Philadelphia story,
My, she was yar.
Yar? What's that mean?
Easy to handle, quick to the helm, fast, bright. Everything a boat should be.
like Katharine Hepburn's Tracy Lord in that film, Maggie may be a little volatile,
Plotz-faced child bride and her electric hips.
but she's actually low maintenance despite looking and acting like $1 million.
A delightful woman, Mr. Evers. However, did you let her slip away from you? She's simply delightful.
Now it could be great to say, hey, alligator.
Going back to those summer camp scenes, some things are slipped in, Looney Tunes style, that show a broader palette the screenwriters are pulling from. For example, when banished to isolated punishment, the twins' campmates follow whistling the Colonel Bogey March, a British war ditty most recently and iconically used at the time as the theme of the resilient British POWs in David Lean's Bridge on the River Kwai. The first half of that film is devoted to Alec Guinness being tortured in a hotbox, an intense prison camp isolation, a distinctly non-kid-friendly reference. And before they get sent off, the camp director asks if the girls are familiar with Gilbert and Sullivan. Susan, predictably, is not, though she does know a heck of a lot about Ricky Nelson. Sharon does know about the light opera Titans as just another contrast in their upbringings. The movie makes a passing reference to the most popular tune from the Mikado.
Let the punishment fit the crime.
But the reference goes deeper than that. William S. Gilbert told a biographer that he had been inspired for many of the duo's operas by an incident in his childhood. The infant Gilbert, the story goes, was kidnapped by bandits in Naples, and only reunited with his parents much later. The story, which may not be true, has ripples in several Gilbert and Sullivan operas, with children bartered away to pirates or youths traveling the countryside in disguise. But most relevant here is the convoluted kidnapping in The Gondoliers, where a pair of near twins are separated from their parents, confused at birth, and must co-rule as kings until it can be sorted out which young man is which. But The Parent Trap also has suspiciously similar elements to the 1945 comedy Twice Blessed, and is almost certainly based on the German novel The Double Lotte. These connections are all possibly coincidental, but this confusion about the Parent Trap's origins is cheekily appropriate. The enigmatic English poet William Blake famously made twin poetry collections, Songs of Innocence and Songs of Experience, where each poem mirrored the image and illustration in the other volume. Now, I'm not going to claim that The Parent Trap reaches Blake's levels of genius, but it has a similar structure. On the one hand, the innocence of Sharon and Susan. On the other, the experience of Mitch and Maggie. Working on different planes, they mirror each other. My deepest love sprung from my only hate. Some scenes weren't that funny as a kid, and now they're brilliant. Everything with the grandfather, as mentioned above, and most of the scenes with Mitch, like him trying to pretend he isn't amused by his daughter's submarining Vicky.
It's a terrible thing to do, isn't it?
Just terrible.
And Sharon, in a rare moment of subtlety, torturing her father about unspoken women troubles.
I've known about all that for simply years.
What the heck were we just talking about then?
Well, what were you talking about?
Well,
No child was laughing at this, but as an adult, The Parent Trap ranks up there with the finest in Disney's golden age of live-action films, and I'm not embarrassed at all to be a fan, even at my advanced age.